Hello everyone, this is Taylor at YogaPod Tucson. I am here to welcome you to a podFIT class on behalf of the Ronald McDonald Charities of Southern Arizona. So we're going to be doing a 30-minute workout together. Like I said, it's podFIT. What that means is it's a complement to your yoga practice. We're going to incorporate some small weights. So if you have some weights at home, you can grab them. They're totally optional. So if you don't have some weights, that's perfectly fine. We're going to start with a warm-up, go through a cardio series, squat, standing, and floor series, which will incorporate your core. So I know we're going to get nice and sweaty. I have my sweat towel here and some water. So we will start down on the floor on our backs for our warm-up. So come all the way down onto your back side. Inhale, find the arms up overhead, reach, and then exhale. Draw one knee into the chest, and chin comes to your chest as well. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, crunch. Keep going through this motion. We're warming up the body, warming up the core. Inhale, find length, exhale, crunch. We do this thing called fitness breath in our podFIT class, which means we are inhaling through the nose and exhaling through our mouth. We build a lot of heat in this class, so that exhale through the mouth will release some of that heat as we get nice and warm. So start to use that fitness breath. A few more seconds here. Last 3. 2 more each side. Last one each side. That core should be getting nice and warm. And then roll over into a side plank. So bring that right elbow underneath the right shoulder. Lift up into that side plank, just a hold to start. If this is a little bit too much for you, you can always kickstand that top leg to the ground, or if you need an even more intense modification, you can come to a full modification side plank. Take a deep breath. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Find that other side. So left elbow underneath the left shoulder. Lift up into that side plank and hold. You can always kickstand that top leg. A few more breaths. Press the ground away. Try to find that length through the fingertips towards the ceiling. Hold for 3. Last 2. On 1, roll over onto the forearms, forearm plank. Option to drop down on the knees, hug your feet in tight towards your seat. Pull your elbows back and down and gaze right in between your wrists. So we'll get the whole body firing up. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down to the knees, find a puppy pose. So melt the shoulders down, keep the hips high. Just releasing through the shoulders. Come on up to hands and knees. Hands come right underneath the shoulders, knees right underneath the hips. And to get the spine working, we're gonna do a couple cat and cows. So inhale, drop the belly low, shoulder blades pull back and down. Exhale, press the ground away. Look up at your navel. And keep going through these cat and cows using your breath as a tempo. So maybe you're not moving as fast as I am, or maybe you're moving a little bit faster. It doesn't really matter. We're just warming up the back body. One more round. And then make your way back to that center point. So finding length through the crown of your head. Tuck your toes, power your knees up off the ground to a little hover. And then 1 more big exhale, press to your downward facing dog. Walk your dog bending through the knees, trying to open up through the shoulders. Just take a moment here to find that balance between pressing the hips high, but then also releasing through the head. Walk your feet to your hands and your hands towards your feet. And then roll up nice and slowly. Great. So we're gonna get the legs warming up. The feet come out wide, toes turn out. Hands start heart center, sink down into a squat. And let's just go over a few squat things as we're warming up our legs in our squat form. So knees are right over the top of the ankles, a lot of weight in the heels, so you should be able to wiggle your toes. The core is pulled up and in, so if you take one hand on your belly and one hand on your back, you should notice that you're not dropping the belly low and not rounding through your spine. So find somewhere in between. Reach through the crown of your head. You should start to feel those quads getting a little burn going. Really small range of motion. Take it down, up, down, up. As you're going through these, the knees are gonna bend a little bit more, tracking right over the top of your feet. Make sure that the shoulders aren't coming up into the ears. Roll those shoulders back and down. Keep the breath moving. By now, you should be feeling those quads. Few more here, then we'll take it to that full range squat. You have 4. Last 3. Final 2. Find your lowest point, stand all the way up, arms kick back. So it's down, up. Really squeezing the glutes up at the top, warming up through the arms with that little tricep kick back. And remember, this is just part of your warm-up. So if you need to take this a little bit slower, this is your time. You decide what your body needs. Just 3. Last 2. Hold nice and low, warming up the calves. Raise up that right heel, lower down, left side. Just switching back and forth between the 2 sides a couple times to warm up the calves. You have 3 more each side. Last 2. Last 1 each side, then forward fold. Shake it out. Deep breath. Maybe grab a drink of water if you need one. Then meet me in our high plank. So just like our forearm plank, this is an amazing way to warm up the whole body. The fingers are spread nice and wide. Index fingers are facing forward, shoulder blades pulled back and down. You can stay right here, or if you want a little bit more, start to pull the knees into the chest, finding a slow mountain climber. Now that we've been here for a moment, if you want to pick up the pace, keep the hips nice and low. 10 more seconds. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees come down to the mat. Find a quick child's pose. So bring the toes together, the knees wide, and then walk your hands out. Head relaxes down onto the mat. And take a breath here. Collect your thoughts, slow down the breath. Big inhale through the nose. Release some of that heat, exhaling through the mouth. Take a few more breaths in your child's pose. And I'm just gonna go over again what we're going to be doing in the next little segment. We're starting with our cardio series, moving on to squats. Then we have a standing series where we integrate those weights. And then we come down onto the floor for a little floor work and a cool down. And so walk the hands back towards the knees. Swing the legs around in front of you. Just one more move to warm up the body just a little bit more. Bring the feet about hips distance apart. Roll down onto your back side. We did a lot of core facing down. This is our core facing up. So hands come next to the ears. Big inhale, exhale, crunch. Gonna get the top of the core engaged, pulling our navel down and in. You can always reach the arms forward. Just try, if you have the hands behind your head, not to pull on your neck. Elbows stay wide. 3 more. Last 2. Stay high, reach to the sides. Maybe touching the heels, engaging through those obliques. You have 4, 3, 2, last 1 each side. Hold center, getting that nice burn in the core. You have 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees come into the chest. Good job. Rock and roll on up to standing. Grab a drink of water on the way, and we are gonna get started with our cardio. So I will show each one of the cardio moves as we are going through and then give you modifications. So some of these moves involve some jumping, and I understand that, that's a little bit of impact on the knees, so I will go over a low impact option. First cardio move, we are coming out into a squat, and then it's a punch right, punch left. If you do not want to have the jump in there, it's just a squat, punch, punch. All right, let's get started. Sink down, punch. Light landing on those feet. Big inhales through the nose and exhales through the mouth. Hands stay up next to the shoulders. The core is engaged. Just getting a little bounce in that squat. We're raising up our heart rate. And at any point in time, if you want to take out that jump, you can just come to that punch with the squat. Few more here, 10 more seconds. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet right underneath the hip points. Come into a squat, knee drive, squat, knee drive. So this is not a full squat. We want to keep the cardio going. So you come about halfway down and knee drive. Knee comes up to get the core involved. Keep the chest lifted as you're coming into those squats. Ten more seconds here. Last 3, 2, 1. Right foot forward, left foot back. Reach that left arm long and knee drive in. Apparently there's a ghost in here. The lights just came on a little bit higher. Driving the knee into the chest. Really getting those arms working. This is a great way to increase your cardio endurance without running. You have 4, 3, 2, last one. Plant that foot. Come into a squat, touch the ground, touch the sky. Call these Frogger squats. You can also add a jump if you want a little bit more. Chest stays nice and lifted. Use those arms. Glutes press way back behind you. Making sure that we're protecting those knees. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Left foot forward, right foot steps back. Right arm high, runners on the other side. We should start feeling this pretty intensely by now. You have 10 more seconds. Last 4, 3, 2, on 1, face the long edge of your mat. And come into a little turned out squat. Last move of the day. It's a bounce in the center, sweep to the side, and that leg straightens. So it's sweep, chest, press. Reach those arms nice and long. Keep the chest lifted, not bending down to the ground. Really lift, press. This is our final cardio move. If you can move a little bit faster, now's the time. You have 10, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job, guys. Grab a drink of water. Woo! That got me going. All right. Notice why I have the sweat towel. So grab those weights. Weights are completely optional for your squat series, but if you want to use them, grab them now. I probably will start with them and then drop them later. We're coming into a parallel squat. So feet are right underneath the hip points. Notice that they're a little bit closer than you see a lot of people doing. So right underneath the hip points, we have full range of motion. Hands can come heart center on the hips, sink down and up. If you don't want to use those weights, place them off to the side. You can also get the arms involved. The little tricep kick back. Keep going with that full range of motion. So this is what I'm calling home base. So if you ever get tired, come right back here to your classic parallel squats. We're gonna layer on from here. So if you want more, follow along. You're gonna squat, toe tap, squat, toe tap, squat. Right, squat, left. And that foot only lifts when you stand all the way up towards the sky, chest is lifted. This does take a little bit of brain work, so if you want to take out one of the elements, you can just keep the hands heart center. So getting the arms going, back up, and then come back into the center. If you want to layer on a little bit more, bring those arms up next to the ears. Make sure that you're not yanking on your head at all. This just takes our center of gravity to a different place, working those muscles a little bit more. All of your connective tissue is holding you in place. Few more here. 3 more, then we hold nice and low. Last one, hold low, bring those hands heart center. Roll the shoulders back and down. Really small range of motion, pulse. Picture that your buns are coming back behind you. Lots of weight in the heels. You have 4, 3, 2, hold nice and low. Find a little burn for the glutes, for those quads. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. Nice job. Grab a drink of water. All right, we are going to grab our weights for our standing series. So come about mid-mat, feet underneath the hip points. Soft bend in the knees. The legs are just forming the foundation for these first couple moves. So you want just a tiny micro bend in the knees. Elbows come up right next to the hips and bicep curl. Only going down as far as that 90-degree angle and then squeezing up. Exhaling on that squeeze, inhaling on the way down. The core is engaged to make sure that the low back is protected. Like I said, nothing's moving except for those arms. Getting a good bicep burn, and then we will move on to some shoulders. Last 3, final 2. Last one, arms come down, palms face you, right arm upright row, and then lateral raise, other side. Upright row, lateral raise. Keep going. Again, this takes a little bit of brain work. So if you are feeling like you want a little bit more in the muscles, but a little bit less of the brain work, you can always do both arms at the same time. Our hands are coming up right in line with the shoulders, and elbow comes up in line with the shoulders for that upright row. Our lower half is not moving. That's why we have that little soft bend in our knees, keeping the core working, really isolating the shoulders right now. A few more each side. Let's just do one more each side. So right side, and then left side. Turn the hands so that they are facing your midline. Hammer curl, overhead press, come all the way back down. If you find this to be a little bit too challenging, you want a little bit more rest, you can always do one side at a time. Giving one arm a little bit of break between those repetitions. And then maybe you try both arms for a little while. You can always go between the two. Listen to your body. Lower body, just like always, is not moving. Don't let the weights control you. You control the weights. 3 more times all the way through. Last 2. And last 1. This time we will shift the weight backwards, so hips go back. Keep the core engaged because we are hinged forward. Hold onto a big beach ball and then drive your elbows back. Just like with our last exercise we were doing, you can always isolate this to be one side at a time, or take just a little bit of rest between the repetitions. You have 3, last 2, last 1. Stand all the way up. Great job. Place those weights off to the side. We are coming down onto the floor. So we already knocked out cardio, squats, standing. We just did all that upper body. And the floor is going to involve a little bit of core work and then also some floor work in the form of some push-ups. So you're gonna bring your hands out to the edges of your mat. Index fingers are facing forward. There's 2 different options for our wide push-ups. We have up on the toes and down on the knees. So down on the knees is gonna be really good if you have any sort of back issues or you're not quite sure that your arms can support you quite yet. Elbows come nice and wide, and then you press back up. You want the elbows to come really, really wide in the wide push-ups rather than a tricep push-up where they come into the center line. But the core is engaged the whole time. Gaze is right in between those index fingers. Down and up. If you want the full form, tuck your toes, find that plank, and then come down and press up. Do a few more of these. Just to burn out the chest. The core is working. 3 more, last 2, and last 1. Take a quick puppy pose, reset. So walk the hands out, hips come really high over the top of the knees. Press the tops of your feet down, just getting a little break. And then we will come into what I'm calling our core floor burnout. So we're gonna do about 60 seconds of one continuous kind of flow, think flow. So you'll start in a high plank, step 1 foot up, forming this lizard pose, rotate same side, twist, involving the core reaching up towards the sky. Hand comes back down, foot steps back, then we do the other side. So step that left foot up, twist and open, hand comes back down to the mat and step back. You can keep it nice and slow and controlled. That will really engage the core to move a little bit slower. Or if you want to pick up the pace and make this a little bit more cardio, you step, lift, hand comes down, step back. We'll do this for about a minute total, so we probably have all done about 30 seconds. So 30 more seconds of work, keeping the hips really low. I know my arms are burning, yours are probably too. Our core is working to keep us in that plank. We're halfway there. Just 15 more seconds. Keep working, keep pushing, you got this. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come down to the knees. Child's pose. Bring the toes together, the knees apart. Grab a drink of water if you need it. All right, I'm gonna change up the music just a little bit for us here so we can slow it down for our cool down. So slowly make your way onto your back side, coming down where we started in the beginning of class. Let's see there. All right. So just slowing it down, coming to our back sides. Take a moment, just let your body melt into the ground. You just worked so hard, we're slowing down the breath. Draw the knees into your chest, one knee in each hand. Maybe rocking side to side just a little bit. And then continue to hold on to the right knee, left leg goes long. Start to use your biceps to pull your knee a little bit out towards that right armpit, but keeping the left hip down. Getting a little bit of openness in that right hip. Draw your knee back into center, and then extend your leg up towards the ceiling. Holding on behind your thigh, your calf, whatever's available for you. You can take a couple ankle circles. And then bend your knee, straighten it a couple times. Inhale the arms out to a T shape. And on your exhale, find a spinal twist, whatever variation works best for you. That can mean one or both legs is bent, one or both legs is straight. If you want a little bit extra twist, gaze over your right shoulder. Allow every exhale to take you a little bit deeper, releasing some of the tension. Continuing to use the breath. Just to find a little bit more stillness, releasing the heat. Just built up in this class. Slowly come back into center. One knee in each hand to start, just resetting the spine. And then hold onto the left knee, right leg goes long. If you want a little bit more, start to pull the left knee in towards the left armpit, keeping the right hip down. Maybe start to open up that left hip just a little bit further. Bring the knee back into center, and then extend it up towards the ceiling. Roll out your ankle, holding on to the back of the thigh or whatever's available. Really flex your foot, straighten the leg a couple times. And then inhale the arms out to a T shape. Exhale, find whatever sort of spinal twist works for you. Just like on the other side, if you want a little bit more spinal twist, you can gaze over your left shoulder. Try to keep both shoulders on the ground. Use the exhales to twist a little deeper. Draw your knees back into center. Quick spinal reset. Rock yourself up a couple times to a comfortable seated position, whatever that means for you. Can be seated crisscross, or you can also come to your knees. And take a couple big shoulder rolls up, back and around. Sitting up nice and tall. Take a couple neck circles. Make sure to reverse your circle. Come back to the center point, really sit up tall. Take that right arm across your chest, holding onto it with the left arm. Try to pull that right shoulder down away from your ear. Release slowly, right arm comes up and over, hand between the shoulder blades, and then use the left palm to press down on the right elbow. Should release your tricep on that right side. If you want even more in the right side body, you can begin to lean over to the left just a little bit. Think more about lifting and bending rather than just collapsing on that left side. Gently release, give yourself a little shake out, then we'll do the other side. Left arm comes across the chest, pull the left shoulder down away from your ear. Bring the left hand between the shoulder blades. This time, right hand presses down on that left elbow. Just like on the other side, if you want a little bit more side bend stretch, just barely lean over to the right side, lifting up. And gently come back to center. We did quite a few different motions in our plank, so just to get the wrists all stretched out, take a couple wrist circles, making sure to reverse the circle, the direction. And then hand presses away from you like you're saying stop. Hold on to the fingertips, bend your wrist backwards just a little bit. And then flip over. Do that same thing on the other side. So make the stop, hand comes back towards your face. And flip over. From right where we are, release those wrists. Take the soles of your feet together, sit up really, really tall for beginning our butterfly stretch. Just gonna get those hips. So start to lean forward with a flat spine. As you can see, I don't go very far. So just pressing the elbows into the knees. Stay lifted through the chest for your big inhale. And on your exhale, round forward. You can start to walk your hands out in front of you to get a little bit further. Maybe hold on to the feet or to the shins, whatever is available for you. Maybe fluttering your butterfly by pressing the knees down towards the ground. We are almost finished with class. If you're feeling super adventurous, you can also skip the cool down and do this twice. That's what we do in class here, is we do 2 times through the circuit. So that's a little challenge for you all out there. Slowly release. Walk the feet out in front of you and then make your way down onto your back side for your final resting pose. So you might know this from your yoga class. As your Shavasana, bring your feet a little bit wider, let your toes fall open, shoulder blades pull down and back, and bring the hands down next to the hips with palms facing the ceiling. Chin tucks in so that you have a long spine. And this is your time of stillness where you can really tune into the body. Feeling whatever you feel, anything is okay here, anything is acceptable. We are not controlling the breath anymore, just allowing our body to settle in, reap the benefits of this challenging workout. You can stay in your Shavasana however long you feel. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today here at YogaPod. If you guys want any more information about YogaPod Tucson or about the Ronald McDonald Charities, you can see the info and the description below this video. And again, my name is Taylor. I hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you so much for joining me.